kiss for you.
Hello. So, today we're going to be talking about Stadia and sort of my thoughts and re-impressions of Stadia and how it works and sort of if I think it's a good idea in 2022 or not. So this is kind of a follow-up to my Stadia video as before, but I kind of just want to talk about sort of what has changed since then and kind of my opinions. So, right now we're on the Stadia website, and as you can see, a couple of things have changed since last time. First off, I magically have a bunch of games here. Second off, the search bar is back. Third off, there's an actual search bar, it's right there. And yeah, we're looking at Stadia from a more casual lens at this point. Where we left off last time was they was kind of in a little bit of a questionable situation where it was being shut down. Some studios, whatever, they're making shut down. Some exclusive games are getting to be prepared, stopped being prepared, and just overall it wasn't looking great for Stadia. Let's just get everyone familiar with what, Stadia really is. It's a cloud gaming service. I've been doing a lot of cloud gaming stuff on the channel recently because I think it's a very big upcoming thing that a bunch of people are going to want to do, and you should be, aware of it. So Stadia was kind of the laughing stock of the cloud gaming scene for a while because of the big thing of, well, it was cool that you didn't need to download an app. You could just access it through a browser window. The big problem was the fact that by default on launch, the only game you could play was Destiny 2. And 2 years later, the only game you can play is Destiny 2 for free. And now technically PUBG, since PUBG went free, but I digress, right? The biggest problem with Stadia was that when you wanted to play a game, the only option on a free account to play a game was the free game that was on Google Stadia, which was Destiny 2, and then eventually when PUBG went free, PUBG as well, right? There was no games on, you couldn't just go into Stadia, make an account, and start playing games, unlike its competition at the time. And the main competition, obviously, was GeForce Now. So let's go and bring that up real quick. Unlike Stadia, GeForce Now allowed you to just log in, sign up with an account, and as long as you had games on Epic or Steam or whatever that you already had accumulated at some point, you could play those games without being much of a problem, right? You could just sign up for an account and play those games technically for free. Right? You don't need to buy a whole bunch of games specifically for GeForce Now. All you had to do was already have those games on something like Steam. And the benefit also was the fact that the biggest contention, not only did you have to buy games on Stadia, but they were Stadia exclusive, right? It wasn't like on GeForce Now where if you buy a game like, let's say, Dying Light 2 on GeForce Now, you buy it on Steam, Dying Light 2, and you have Dying Light 2 to be able to play on Steam once you do get a computer that has the ability to play it, right? So right now I'm just on a free account because I stopped paying for GeForce Now a while ago. But basically, this is a GeForce Now interface or app. As you can see here, I downloaded this because it typically runs better. But unlike, so if we compare the two, right, this is the Stadia interface, this is a GeForce Now one, and a GeForce Now had your library, and it had all your games from Steam and Epic and all the different things, and it had your save data from that, especially. And basically, all they had to do to add functionality was just get, a contract together saying, hey, I want to put your game onto GeForce Now, and so that's why you have things like Project Zomboid and Power of People, Story of Seasons, which is MapleStory, Satisfactory, Disco Elysium, Untitled Goose Game, stuff with RTX, right? There's a lot of options here because all it's requiring is it's just giving you an option to play that game on GeForce Now, having already saved, that kind of stuff, right? This is big, and this was the main competition. And it was Stadia was a laughing stock because you had to go in and pay $50 for the Crew 2 and basically start from scratch because it didn't have your Crew 2 save data, right? You just click on it, and Crew 2, Ubisoft Connect, Epic Games, and this is a little bit different, but yeah, right? So I own the Crew 2 on Steam, so I have a Steam thing here. I can click Steam, I can click Play, and eventually I'll be able to log into my Steam account and play the Crew 2 on here, right? I have to own it on Steam or Ubisoft Connect or Epic Games Store or whatever, but ultimately, once you do that, you play and you're all set to go, right? It has your saves. Versus if I owned the Crew 2 and was able to play it on GeForce Now, I wouldn't be able to play it on Stadia because you'd have to buy it again, right? And that was a big contention point. And as you can see, you'd still have to, right? As I still own it here, and I would still have to pay for it if I wanted to on Stadia. However, what has changed since then is Stadia's approach to sort of where they're succeeding and how they're leveraging that. GeForce Now is succeeding almost primarily because I forgot to mention the free version of GeForce Now, as I talked about in my GeForce Now video, basically is useless because no one wants to sit in a line and have caps and stuff. It's a trial, right? It's basically, I could play one of these games on GeForce Now, but I'd have to wait in a line. Control, because on Steam, I click play, and guess what the first thing that pops up is? It's a whole box that says waiting for GeForce Now to start. You're like 50,000th in line or whatever, and blah, 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 right? It would do that, and it would like stall. As it's doing now, it's kind of like stuck. There's bugs and other problems. Stadia hasn't had many bugs or problems with me, but the main thing that Stadia's advantage was in the free tier was the fact that you don't have, I'm stuck. Main advantage is that no time limit, right? So I can just, for instance, go here. If I wanted to play Destiny, I could go home. I could hit play next, Destiny, and I click play, and all of a sudden we're right into the game, right? There's no loading. There's not like waiting in line for whatever. We just go and play. And this is not a free account, right? So you couldn't do this on GeForce Now, and eventually when Luna came out, you couldn't do that on Amazon Luna. So that's basically where we're on the free version. The free version has a couple benefits. Obviously, no time limit, no waiting, like that stuff. You do get the standard 1080-60. You're not limited in that regard. It's like competitive with the other options, and you're overall not in your selection, right? Like if you want to pay for a game on Stadia, exclusively for Stadia, like the Crew 2 or whatever, and play it with your free Stadia account, you could do that. On GeForce Now, you could technically do that, but you wouldn't want to because the free version of GeForce Now isn't like useful, right? So you'd have to be paying the $10 a month for GeForce Now to get those extra features, even though it would also still be locked to 1080-60. There is a 4K version of GeForce Now, like $16 a month, I think, so that's more expensive than the $10 that Stadia Pro is. And that's another thing, is that Stadia Pro was kind of this whole like, okay, yeah, you can pay for Stadia Pro, you'll probably want to do that, but there was no advantage really to paying for Stadia Pro because you'd be paying $10 a month, and there wasn't like, I think for a while, on top of the whole like $130 Premiere thing, there also just wasn't a lot of games, and so a lot of the games were like behind Stadia Pro sort of certification. But basically, the Stadia Pro originally was like, you kind of had to pay for Stadia Pro because there was like a behind a beta wall or whatever, and then eventually you had to pay for the games as well. So it's just kind of this like double lock system that was really annoying. But you don't have to do that anymore, right? It's good you don't do that. So now Stadia Pro is much better. You get a bunch of games for free. You pay $10 a month, get a bunch of games for free, get discounts on games, and get 4K or 1440p upscalable resolutions, right? So right now the Destiny 2 footage you're seeing here that I'm playing currently isn't running at 4K, but my monitor is a 1440p, so it's running probably around between 1080 and 1440. As you can see here, the input lag is very good. Moving my mouse left and right, it's moving up and down. There's no delay to that. There is a little bit of screen sort of, or like flickering on certain parts of the video, but overall it is not too bad. Yeah, overall colors are good. Colors aren't a problem. It's not being compressed or pixelated too much. It's definitely at a playable frame rate. Right now I'd say we're about 60, maybe 50. The controls feel nice. They're not too like floaty or whatever. It doesn't feel like you're going on quicksand. It's a very nice movement. I can do small movements back and forth with my keyboard. We're good. I can aim normally. There's no problem with aiming. There's no problem with looking around. Everything is going up. So I'd say this is definitely playable. If you want to play Destiny 2, again, this is free. You can just hop on Stadia and do that as well. And hit exit game, and all of a sudden, boom, you're back out of the game. And then, yeah, so looking at the store real quick, obviously the sales for certain games and stuff. And then the pro games, right? So that's another thing that the pro, as I said before, the pro games and, you know, the standard free trial. The pro games and pro deals are really where this is doing really well. So if you're watching this and redeeming it within the next 2 days, Lenovo Gaming is having a Stadia offer where you can get 3 months of Stadia Pro for free. So just sign up with this link here. Just type in Lenovo Gaming Stadia offer. The first link will talk about how to sign up for the Lenovo Legion offer, and then you'll get Stadia Pro, and then you can claim all the games that come with Stadia Pro. Let's just claim all these real quick. Not a ton of shovelware here, which is good. We have Destiny 2, that's new by default. Elder Scrolls Online is not included, I don't think. I did buy this, and one of the important things is when you buy a game, you have access to it on the free version, so that's good. Pro games included have a little pro tag at the corner here, so you can understand that when you stop paying for pro, you will lose these games. So a couple of the games included are Arcs, Well Evolved, Control Ultimate Edition, Pac-Man, Ease 8, Super Hot, Everspace, PUBG is with Pro, but it's also free, so that's one of the other free ones that you can use without paying for Stadia Pro. Journey to Savage Planet F1, Ryan's Toy Review Road Trip Deluxe Edition, Life is Strange Before the Storm Remaster, Falconeer, Keeper, Darkwood, Hello Neighbor, Darksiders Genesis, Wave Break, Adam Wolf, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, Darksiders 3, Saints Row 4, Shantae, Life is Strange Remaster, Destroy All Humans, Paw Patrol game, Dragons game, a game that looks like it was made in paint, Moonlighter, Trine 4, Blue Fire, Transformers Battlegrounds, Charles of Cold Steel 3, Terraria, Killer Black Queen, Grime, Rainbow Six Extraction, that's a free trial, Hitman, Enter the Gungeon, Human Fall Flat, Figment, Little Nightmares 2, Rain Submerged, Bikini Bottom, Rehydrated, Resident Evil 7 Gold. So those are all the games that are included with Pro. Pretty good selection here. So if you just want to check a couple of these games out and play them, they do rather well. So yeah, there's also this Explore tab, which typically has like, posts and trending stuff and sort of games that are trending and things that if you have friends that you've added here that can do it as well. So yeah, overall I'd say Stadia is in a much better place than it was, and a lot of the reasons are because they're promoting that free tier with trying to hopefully create more free games. They're kind of lacking though in that department, again only having Destiny 2 and PUBG, because the one advantage of GeForce Now is even if you're paying for GeForce Now, you get a bunch of free games, right? You get like all the free games that you have access to regardless of platform and compatibility and all that stuff, right? So if I go to GeForce Now and have it load for a minute, you'll see an entire free section that has things like Rocket League and CSGO and Dota and a lot of games that you can't access on Stadia, right? They're just not available, which is a real shame, because if they did and were available, then the free version of Stadia would be blowing up, right? Because who doesn't want to be able to play CSGO wherever? It's not loading right now. Let's see if we can get that to load. It does not look like it. It is down at the moment. But there is a bunch of free games that you can do with GeForce Now. This app might not be up to date, so that's probably why that is happening. So like if you look at this and you think that's interesting, you want to at least give it a try, you can definitely do that. Again, Stadia, use that 3-month Pro membership and just start going. I will also say that one thing that people kind of forget to mention is that Stadia on the phone works really well. So they do have an app on the Google Play Store and Android App Store, and it works pretty well. Here, you just open it up, right? Click the play button, you can start playing Destiny 2. You can hook up your controller. Should work fine, and it runs really well, right? Especially since it's a smaller screen. I have a S21 Ultra. At the moment, it's a pretty big screen, but even then, it looks really good because obviously it's not as big, and so it runs really well. Like it doesn't have to render as much, obviously, and so it runs better on a phone a lot of the times than it will not on a phone, right? That's important to note. Stadia app right here, obviously. And another thing is that because it's a Stadia app and it's Google and everything's intertwined like that, you can buy Stadia games with your Google Play. So if you have Google Play cards or whatever that you haven't been using or have saved up for whatever reason, you can pay for Stadia games that way, and that's actually how I paid for Elder Scrolls Online. And that's a really good game, right? So like advantage of this and streaming in general is the fact that if you have a game like Destiny 2, Elder Scrolls Online that's like 120 gigabytes, you don't want to have to download that. But like, I don't want to have to download 120 gigs of that just to have it not run well when I could just do through streaming. And that's an important part. And the reason Stadia works for that is because I'm not paying for Destiny 2, and I already bought Elder Scrolls Online, right? And so I don't want to sit through the launchers and updates and all that stuff when I can just click play. So yeah, overall I think that's a better version than what I ended up doing before. And if you want to see kind of more of this, a tier list award show kind of mixture is coming up as my next video, talking about sort of the differences between the cloud gaming services, and which I think are really on top at the moment. So yeah, with that being said, I'll see everyone in the next video.